For those here today, we will get started in about 30 seconds. We will call the meeting to order. I would ask that we all rise to receive our elected councillors. Good morning, councillors. Please be seated for the land acknowledgement. This meeting is being called to order. We acknowledge that this land on which we are gathered today is part of the ancestral land of the Chippewa, Odawa, and Potawatomi peoples, referred to collectively as the Anishinaabe. It is through the connection of the Anishinaabe with the spirit of the land, water, and air that we recognize their unique cultures, traditions, and values. Together, as treaty people, we have a shared responsibility to act with respect to the environment that sustains all life, protecting the future of those generations to come. I would ask that we briefly stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. I will now call the rolls. Councillor Agar, Mayor of the Township of St. Clair. Councillor Atkinson, Mayor of the Township of Plimpton, Wyoming. Present. Thank you. Councillor Bushi, City Council. Thank you. Councillor Bradley. Councillor Broad, Mayor of Don Euphemia. Present. Thank you. Councillor Todd, Mayor of Warwick. Present. Thank you. Councillor Cook, Mayor of Lambton Shores. Present. Thank you. Councillor Dennis, City County Councillor, City of Sarnia. Present. Thank you. Councillor Ferguson, Mayor, Brooke Alvinston. Present. Thank you. Councillor Hand, Mayor, Point Edward. Present. Thank you. Councillor Loosely, Mayor, Petrolia. Present. Thank you. Councillor Marriott, Mayor, Enniskillen. Present. Thank you. Councillor McRoberts, City County Councillor, City of Sarnia. Thank you. Councillor Miller, Deputy Mayor, St. Clair Township. Present. Thank you. Councillor Sageman, Deputy Mayor, Lambton Shores. Present. Thank you. Councillor Veen, Mayor, Oil Springs. Present. Thank you. Councillor Brian White, County Councillor, City of Sarnia. Present. Thank you. We have a quorum. Good morning, everyone. My name is Stéphane Svo, and I'm serving as the clerk for the County of Lambton this morning. Welcome to members of council, County of Lambton staff, members of the media, and members of the public here in county chambers, together with those following us live on the county's YouTube channel. We have a busy agenda today. Council will be asked momentarily to elect its next leadership team, that is to elect its 160th warden, together with its deputy warden, each for a 2-year term. In addition to those elections, and after those elections, council will be asked to strike its striking committee. Once those members have been identified, the striking committee will meet here in council chambers. Following striking committee meetings, Committee AM will meet here in council chambers, and then following that, Committee PM will meet in council chambers. As we move forward with our agenda and with the election of the warden and deputy warden, a few things for council members to remember. We are broadcasting live to our YouTube channel. Mics may be live. Audio and video is streamed to YouTube. Treat your mic as live at all times. So, first order of business, for those of you following us online, we're at item 4B of today's agenda. We are now going to proceed with swearing in each of our councillors. If you may stand, please. I would ask that you read after me, following each sentence. I, having been elected to the office of councillor in the county of Lambton, do solemnly promise and declare that. One, I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability.
Two, I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner.
I will not receive and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner.
Three, I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
Four, I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III.
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III.
And I make this solemn promise and declaration consciously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
And I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Thank you. I ask that you each sign your declarations. And for those in attendance today, please stand and welcome our new council to Lambton County. Congratulations. Thank you. We will now proceed to the election of the warden. After council has elected its warden, the following will happen. County Council will be asked to pass a resolution appointing its warden for 2023-2024. Following that, we will immediately proceed to the election of the deputy warden. Following the election of the deputy warden, we will then swear in our newly elected warden. And following that, the warden will take the chair. Now, let's proceed with nominations for the office of warden. Those who wish to be considered for the office of warden by this council, would you please stand? We have Councillor Marriott, Mayor, Township of Enniskillen. Is there anybody else who wishes to stand for the office of warden? I will close nominations, given that there are no other candidates, and then we will proceed with the acclamation and, of course, the election of the deputy warden in one moment. But before we do, to chair that process, I would like to invite Mrs. Bev MacDougall, who was a city-county councillor between 2003 and 2018, and this council's 156th warden. She served in that position between 2015 and 2016. Welcome, Ms. MacDougall. Please take the chair.
To all of you, what a pleasure it is to return to this council chamber and see the faces of so many people from my memory bank, and flooded with memories of good times and bad times that we came through together around the decision-making that rests around the services delivered to the people of Lambton County. This is an important first meeting for this term, which will last for 4 years. And it's really important as each of you ponder your selection of those who will lead you for the next 2 years as Warden and Deputy Warden of the County of Lambton. It is an honor to serve always in a leadership capacity, and with that comes the responsibility to be the voice of council decision-making, to be the level calm when things get a little testy around the ring, as sometimes they do, and to be there for the people who we are served by the governance that you all provide. I enjoyed the 15 years that I was here. I enjoyed every second of all of the decisions that we made, the times we went away together, the learning that we did together, and it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I'm happy to be here today, back in this chair that brings and floods a whole ton of memories for me. The first thing that we have to look after here is, because there is no competition for the position of warden, I am looking now to announce that Kevin Marriott, Councillor Kevin Marriott, will be the warden for 23-24. Kevin, we go back a long way together. You will serve this body well. You will serve the interests of Lambton County well. You come with 2 years of experience. You have the faith of your council, and you have the faith of the broader community. And certainly it is wonderful to announce that you will be the warden for the next 2 years. With that, I am looking for a motion then from the floor, moved by Councillor Hand and seconded by Councillor Loosely, that Kevin Marriott will be your warden for 23-24. All in favor? That motion is carried. So the next thing we go to now is the election of the Deputy Warden. I'll turn this back now to Stefan.
Thank you, Chair MacDougall. We now proceed to the election of the Deputy Warden. For those following us online, we are now at agenda item number 8. Congratulations to Warden Marriott. Warden Marriott serves as our 159th warden, but I believe also as the first warden completely elected and sworn in online, and now, of course, as our 160th warden sworn in here in person. We'll now proceed with the election of the Deputy Warden, and I'll first address the election rules. Those wishing to be considered for the office of Deputy Warden shall state so by simply standing when requested to do so. The Deputy Warden shall not be chair of any standing committee. The Deputy Warden is elected by secret ballot. Each councillor is entitled to vote. When the vote proceeds, you vote from your desks. The ballots will be distributed to you by our 2 scrutineers. Our 2 scrutineers today are Councillor Atkinson, Mayor of Plimpton, Wyoming, for this side of the chambers, and City County Councillor, Councillor McRoberts, from this side, from the City of Sarnia. Once the ballots have been collected, and each of the scrutineers will collect them in the ballot boxes, you each have a box there, which is in blue on the table. We will then proceed to committee room number 3 to count those ballots. Once those ballots are counted, to be elected Deputy Warden, there is no need for a majority. The candidate who secures the most votes on the first ballot secures the office. If there happens to be a tie between 2 candidates for the most votes, then we will have a runoff vote for as between those two candidates. Does council have any questions before we proceed with opening the nominations for the office of Deputy Warden? I'm not seeing any. At this point in time, I will open nominations for the office of Deputy Warden. For those of you who wish to be considered for that office, would you please kindly stand at this time? Thank you. Is there any other councillor who wishes to stand for the position of Deputy Warden? I will then close the nomination period. We have County Councillor from the City of Sarnia, Councillor White, standing for the position of Deputy Warden. We have Councillor Hand, Mayor of Point Edward, standing for the position of Deputy Warden. And we also have Councillor Ferguson, Mayor of Brook Alvinston, standing for the position of Deputy Warden.
Okay.
You may sit and we will proceed.
Okay, and as I reviewed the process here, we're going to go through this in alphabetical order. Reminding each of the speakers that you have 2 minutes to make your case. We'll start with Councillor Ferguson.
Thank you. Good morning, fellow councillor staff. Good morning, members of the press, public, and returning former wardens and councillors. I'd like to extend a special thank you to Bev Hands and Brian White for their interest in the Deputy Warden position. I've become friends with both of you over the last 4 years and will continue to be friends. Putting my name up for Deputy Warden is something I take very seriously. I had to think about it a day or so longer, and encouragement helped me make my mind up. Being ready to substitute for the warden at a moment's notice, chairing meetings, and some extra committee work would enable me to have more involvement in the county operations. Thinking back over the years of my farming career, which puts me in the category of independent business owner, I realize how many relationships and contacts that have been cultivated across Lambton, neighboring municipalities, and for that matter, across Ontario, which can be built upon. Literally, I've been in all corners of the county, and my varied interests have led to a number of unique opportunities. Giving presentations at signed venues such as the Lawrence House, and then down to downtown Toronto at the Royal Ontario Museum, gives me perspective and help to make me well-rounded. These interests have given me insight into many aspects that pertain to residents and business of Lambton County. Brook Alvinston is one of the smaller municipalities in Lambton. Understanding the needs of my neighbors and collaborating is very important to me. Working with council and staff for the betterment of the county is a priority. To encourage relationships with neighboring municipalities would be intriguing. Reaching across county lines on like-minded issues would benefit everyone. I do try to make phone calls and emails when we get our agendas. Having a good understanding of the business at hand before we convene a committee or council enables me to make solid, informed decisions. I have learned so much in the last 4 years and have much to learn in this next term of council. You find me open and fair, but also firm. I ask for your support as Deputy Warden to serve you in the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ferguson. Next, we'll hear from Councillor Hand.
Thank you, and welcome to all our guests, fellow councillors, and county staff. In December 2019, I had the honor of being elected to the Deputy Warden position. By March 2020, we were impacted by the pandemic and our world shut down. The Warden and Deputy Warden were very busy, but it was all about Zoom meetings several times a week, talking with other municipalities about what we were dealing with. We were focused on Dr. Ranaday's weekly updates and sometimes daily updates on what was happening in Lambton County and working with the emergency coordinators. We talked through the issues, worked on decisions related to vaccines, masking, working from home, provincial edicts, and etc. I appreciated being involved. It was stressful, but it did help me to work on the same issues within my own municipality. And I feel we can be very proud of the work that was done in Lambton County during that period. We worked well together and we got through it. Because of this experience, I wanted another term. to partner with Warden Kevin. We balance the county geographically, and I think this is a plus. I appreciated his calm demeanor and his collaborative approach. I seek your support to have a chance to experience the Deputy Warden position as we return to our new normal. I want to continue to learn about all the facets of our communities across this county. So thank you very much, and I appreciate your support.
Thank you, Councillor Hand. Next, we'll hear from Councillor Brian White from the City of Sarnia.
Thank you, Madam Chair, staff, members of County Council, members of the public. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Councillor Ferguson and Councillor Hand, and thank you, Councillor Hand, for your leadership over the last 2 years as Deputy Warden. Members of County Council, I'm going to make this very simple. I stand before you to offer myself to work for you, to work with you, to learn from you over the next 2 years as we embark in this journey of being in a new normal. My work experience is all over the map. I've run a kitchen, I've owned my own moving company, I've been a filmmaker, and I've traveled across the entire country several times. I am the father of an adult with disabilities, and I am myself in recovery. And why I share that with you is that is the lens through which I see the world. I believe that brings me forward with a different skill set and with an ability to relate to people on a different level. I believe my skills are unique. I have chaired the Committee AM, the Committee PM, the Creative County Committee over the last 4 years alone, as well as served as acting mayor for the City of Sarnia. I've been board chair for a provincially run lead agency for mental health, as well as Family Advisory Committee chair for CPRI, the only tertiary facility run by the province of Ontario. In short, I'm confident that I could step in and chair a meeting on a moment's notice. I'm confident that I could sit with a group of decision makers along with our warden and with our complementary skill sets, create a formidable team to serve the best interests of the county, of your communities, and us as individuals. So I thank you for this opportunity to share with you today, and I look forward to the next 4 years of working together. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor White, for your remarks. Next, I'm going to call forward the scrutineers, Councillor Atkinson for this side of the chamber and Councillor McRoberts for this side. Oh, I guess, no, it's okay. I guess he's going there. Now the journey of waiting begins. I also remember this over the years. We all sat around and waited while The clerk and the scrutineers went back into the committee room and counted the ballots, and we waited with anticipation for the announcement to come back. Again, I remember those elections over the years, and it was always a time filled with anticipation, especially if you were running yourself. While we wait, I'm sitting here thinking about wardens over the years, deputy wardens over the years, and the importance of this role to the council and also to the staff, because this is not a one-sided machine by any means, governance. It relies on the collaboration of those elected to serve and those who come here every day to undertake the county's work. And the relationship that it builds between your deputy warden and your warden has to be one of trust, has to be one of, at a moment's notice, being able to talk to one another, to be able to be the best of themselves in any given moment, to back each other up when the load of special events, which certainly didn't happen over the last term of council, but we're back to normal now, and it will happen again. It is a great privilege to serve either one of these offices, and a great importance, because I remember early on in the game, somebody said to me, as deputy warden, you know, you have to be ready to serve at any moment in time. And I was happy over the years that the deputy warden became more involved in the committee work and really more informed in all of the things that were going on, because your warden is the person who sits closest on a day-to-day basis to the work of staff. And the deputy warden needs to be equally informed, and it's a good system. It is a good system that we had here for the time in the years that I spent on county council. And we all are very hopeful as we all get back to normal that the resumption of services and the resumption of governance in a framework of more like it used to be will be more productive as you have your face-to-face conversations, not just in this chamber, but in your committee rooms, in your casual times that you're attending special events together. That's what builds the spirit of a council and the spirit of a team. And Kevin, I always admired you for the friendly demeanor you came to every single thing you ever did. The times that we were in local legions, where you were there sometimes with your mom, we were all gathered together around conversations, good food, the camaraderie of our service to the people of Lambton and whatever that framework was. As an ordinary citizen now, one who had the privilege of serving out here, I look forward on behalf of all of you to this next 4 years when you will be back to normal. You all did yeoman's work for the last 4 years, each and every one of you, to get through a very troubled time. And I remember a time when everything was locked down, and I thought, my goodness, how hard it would be to be a councillor, that the best you could do was Zoom, screen, attachment to each other, your debates, clicking along. And I'd listen to Dr. Ronaday on the radio along with everybody else, and I thought, you know, it was the level calm that you collectively delivered to the community that gave us confidence that we're going to get through it. There's a lot of important services that are delivered here from the County of Lambton, and I can't say enough how much it is appreciated as the business of the county comes close to the people, how much it's appreciated, the work that you do. So you've got lots of good times ahead. Certainly, Warden Marriott, in your experience, in the work that you do day to day on your farm, your willingness to be available to people at the drop of a hat, or you pick up an email and you pick up the phone. You have served your community of Enniskillen well. You have served the county of Lambton well, and you will continue to do so over the next 2 years. And whoever comes back, the magic slip of name that will ride before me in the next few minutes, you will serve beside Warden Marriott well, and it will be a very, very productive term. We have no drum roll here. Sorry about that. But we do have. Where is it?
The red button.
Oh, sorry. I did remember to turn my mic back on. Okay, the piece of paper has been passed to me, and I am happy to announce that the winner of the 2023-24 Deputy Warden's election is Councillor Brian White. Congratulations, Councillor White. Deputy Warden White. I'm now looking for a motion from the floor that the new Deputy Warden be elected for the years 2023 to 2024. Moved by Councillor McRoberts, seconded by Councillor Veen, that Deputy Warden Brian White will serve for the next term of 2023 to 2024. All in favor? That motion is unanimous and carried. The next motion I'm looking for is that a motion to destroy the ballots. Councillor Broad, Councillor Loosely, that the ballots from this election be destroyed. All in favor? That motion is also carried. Now it's time for me to retire for a second time. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mrs. MacDougall, for chairing that process and, of course, the election of the Deputy Warden's position in office. At this point in time, for those following us online, we are at item 13 of our agenda, which is where we see the Warden, Warden Marriott, being gowned and escorted upstairs to his office for those purposes, and following gowning, piped into this chamber. And at this point in time, to do that, I would ask on our former warden, individual served as the 158th warden of Lambton County between 2019 and 2020, former councillor Bill Weber, who was of course a councillor here, and former mayor of Lambton Shores, to join Warden Marriott to committee room. To the committee room upstairs for gowning purposes, so that Warden Marriott may be piped in. Council ready to proceed? Proceed? Lisa, we're ready to proceed. At this point in time, is there anybody who wishes to make a statement or presentation to the warden? There being none, we'll then pass it off to the warden for his speech.
Good morning, Lambton County Councillors, staff, guests, and members of the media. I can't express how much I appreciate everyone's confidence in allowing me to serve as your warden for 2 more years. It is hard to believe that we are already approaching the 3rd anniversary of the pandemic. We all know that change is inevitable, but the speed of these changes over the last 3 years has been staggering. Since the beginning of this year, we have seen financial conditions change more in 1 year than in many years. We hear on the news every day about people having a hard time being able to pay for basic needs and homelessness is rising at an unprecedented rate. I believe that much more pain is coming with even higher interest rates. The federal and provincial governments will also continue to tighten their belts before the war on inflation is brought under control. Any business or corporation like the County of Lambton will survive the challenging period ahead with good financial management. I'm very thankful for the past leadership of elected officials as well as the general managers of finance here in Lambton for getting us to this envious position of having fairly low debt and moderately healthy reserves. In the past, these tough economic cycles lasted a few years, not just 1 year, like some economists are trying to predict. Therefore, this council could have a very challenging job of maintaining the steady improvement of services that we have become accustomed to. The new Lambton Shared Services building in Sarnia that was just officially opened 2 weeks ago today will have a commitment of $22 million within 20 years, and we only have $500,000 set aside in that particular reserve. Our long-term care homes have potential for $100 million in needed upgrades. We have seen the addition of 24 units plus 2 more affordable housing units in the past year, but we all know many more are needed. Even with federal and provincial funding, we need to have our share of funding to increase these units. More than ever, Lambton County Council will have to work together as a team to meet these challenges. You have my commitment to continue to work with all of Council. We just have to overlook those occasional differences of opinions we may have from time to time. It is hard to do, but when we sit here in the chamber as County Council, we must not only vote for what is good for the municipality who we represent, but for the good of Lambton County as a whole. As challenging as it will be, I'm very committed to continuing to be your warden for the next 2 years and promise to give the position as much of my energy and dedication as possible. Thank you. Okay. At this time, I'd ask if anybody has a speech they would like. I know Stefan asked, Mr. Tifo asked before, but we're going to ask one more time. Seeing none, I would like to recognize the wardens, past wardens who are present. If you could please stand. Four of them. Five. Great, welcome. It's great to follow good leadership like the 5 of you over the last many years. And that's how come Lambton is in as good a shape as we are with strong leadership like you provided. Thank you. At this time, we're going to recess for half an hour to the lobby for refreshments, and we'll return back here in half an hour. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. We seem to have lost our spectators. They had enough of it all. I'll turn it over to Mr. Tifo once more.
Thank you, Warden Merritt. We're now at item 22 of our agenda for those following online. This is where County Council members appoint their member from each municipal group to the striking committee. And the way that you've done so historically in the past is to get together with your municipal groups within chambers, select your appointee to the striking committee, come back, let me know who your appointee is to the striking committee, and then we will sit as a striking committee. So I'll let you join your municipal groups and appoint your members to the striking committee. Okay, so I'm being asked to repeat the municipal groups. And so the first municipal group, Brooke Alvinston, Dawn Euphemia, and St. Clair. So if you wish to meet in one area of the council chambers to appoint your nominee to the striking committee, please do so. Second group is Sarnia councillors. Please meet together, appoint your nominee to the striking committee. Third group, Enniskillen, Oil Springs, Petrolia, Point Edward. Please meet, appoint your member to the striking committee. And fourth group, Lambton Shores, Plimpton, Wyoming, and Warwick. Please again meet together in chambers and appoint your member to the striking committee. If you can go and put your input. Ultimately, you're a member of all the committees anyway.
That's right. So,
Okay, 30-second warning to resume. 30-second warning. 10-second warning and we will resume. 10 seconds and we will resume.
Yeah, if you could take our seats, please. So do I ask? Okay, I'll turn it over to Mr. Tifo to ask each group who they've selected.
All right, we'll start with the Brooke Alvinson, Don Euphemia, St. Clair Municipal Group. Who is your nominee to the striking committee? Councillor Ferguson. Myself. Okay. Councillor Ferguson. And from Sarnia? Myself, sir. Thank you. We have Deputy Warden White. And from the Municipal Group of Enniskillen, Oil Springs, Petrolia, Point Edward.
We selected Mayor Bev Hand.
Thank you. We have Mayor Bev Hand. And lastly, from the Municipal Group of Lambton Shores, Plimpton, Wyoming, and Warwick.
Myself,
Thank you. Councillor Cook. Okay, so in terms of our agenda now, the striking committee shall meet, and the striking committee, the 4 members, will make a number of appointments to first Committee AM, secondly to Committee PM, and a number of other committees. So to proceed, for those who are not on the striking committee, so the 4 remaining members, please stay in council chambers. And for the rest of you, we'll ask you to excuse yourself, perhaps to the lounge, to the area, and we'll call you back once the striking committee has done its work. All right, welcome members of the striking committee for 2023-2024. First, I'll need a motion from the group to appoint the membership itself. Of course, the membership, Councillor Ferguson, Councillor White, or Deputy Warden White, Councillor Hand, and Councillor Cook as the members of this committee. So I'll need that motion. It's moved by Councillor Cook and seconded by Councillor Ferguson. All right, now we will need a motion to appoint the chair of the striking committee. Are there nominees? How do you wish to proceed with that? Councillor Ferguson?
I make a motion Deputy Warden chair the committee.
Deputy Warden?
I'll second that.
Second by Councillor Hand.
Thank you, Mr. Tifo. So we are at item 3. We're assigning letters to councillors, excluding the warden, and selecting members for the committees of council. There are 2 standing committees, AM and PM. So we'll look at committee AM first. And do you have that, or is that here? Oh, that's on the next page. Okay.
We do need a motion to appoint a vice chair.
Okay, let's do that. All right, who wants to vice chair this committee? Look for nominations. Pretty sure it's a heavy load. Are you raising your hand for a motion or to stand for the position? All right, so who wants to make the motion for Councillor Ferguson? Councillor Hand. Who seconds that? Councillor Cook. All in favor? Oh, that's unanimous. Whew. It's a nail biter. All right, so we'll look to item 3 now and start assigning people to. And if memory serves me correct, there's probably a draft here somewhere.
I have a draft and suggestion for council, so effectively you're assigning letters to each one of your council members, and those letters are then assigned to committee AM and PM. When you do so, you want to establish balance between the municipal groups in terms of the representations on committee AM and PM, and to ensure that within that balance that no municipal group is overrepresented on any one of the committee AM and PM. So that being said, we of course took a look at that and took a look at the assignments from past terms, and we are proposing the following letter assignments, and this will follow the assignments to the committees. For letter A, and therefore on committee AM for the first year, would be Councillor Ferguson. Letter B, Councillor Miller, which is again committee AM for the first year. Letter C, Councillor Bradley, committee AM for the first year. Letter D, Deputy Warden White, committee AM for the first year. Letter E, Councillor Veen, committee AM for the first year. Letter F, Councillor Cook, committee AM for the first year. Letter G, Councillor Case, committee AM for the first year. And the last appointment to committee AM for the first year, letter H, Councillor Bouchy. That balances municipal groups and the membership between the 2 committees if you wish to adopt that suggestion recommendation.
Moved by Councillor Hand, seconded by Councillor Cook. Sure, discussion?
And I would also like to put Sageman into AM and myself into PM. Please.
We can certainly deal with that. Councillor Cook's first. So if I understand correctly, Councillor Cook, you wish to switch with your member, your deputy mayor, Councillor Sageman, and just switch letters so that he's in. We can easily do that. That changes nothing in terms of the balancing of the group. So I'll make a draft note to that effect. Sageman would be assigned letter F, committee AM, if that's acceptable to the group. Not hearing anything else. Councillor Ferguson, you had a suggestion as well. Okay, how does the group wish to address that? Any objections? If not, we can easily do that. So Councillor Agar would be assigned letter A. Councillor Ferguson would be assigned letter J for the committee PM. And Councillor Broad would be assigned letter B for committee AM, and Councillor Miller assigned letter L, committee PM. So, to repeat the membership for committee AM, which by default will define your committee PM, we have Councillor Agar, letter A, Councillor Broad, letter B, Councillor Bradley, letter C, Deputy Warden White, letter D, Councillor Veen, letter E, Councillor Sageman, letter F, Councillor Case, letter G, Councillor Councillor Boucher, letter H, all committee AM.
Bradley and I in A. Both was in A, right? A, yeah, that's good.
So I'll need a motion for that.
Councillor Ferguson moves that. Councillor Ferguson moves that. Councillor Cook seconds that. As amended, all in favor? That's passed. Thank you.
And to confirm the letters for the committee PM, letter L, Councillor Miller. Letter J, Councillor Ferguson. Letter K, Councillor Dennis. Letter L, Councillor McRoberts. Letter M, Councillor Loosely. Letter N, Councillor Hand. Letter O, Councillor Cook. And letter P, Councillor Atkinson.
Okay, and is that a separate motion? Did we? Yeah, we'll need a motion to confirm committee PM as presented by Mr. Tifo, Councillor Cook, Councillor Ferguson, all in favor? That is passed, thank you. All right, moving on to item number 4. We must select one member of County Council to serve on Tourism Sarnia-Lambton. I would look to our membership groups. If anyone has a representative they wish to put forward. Sure, absolutely.
I am currently, and have been for a while, on Sarnia-Lambton Tourism. My community supports them to the greatest amount through our MAT tax. But in the event that I wasn't appointed again, I can be reappointed as past chair, so I can stay on the committee. But Pointer wants a representative on the committee because of the amount of money that we put in. So I can be covered the other way, and it's open to someone else. Also, the warden attends all the meetings.
Okay, well, thank you for that clarification. Councillor Ferguson?
Would Lambton Shores take a representative, Doug? Would Dan Sageman probably said?
Dan would, yes, he would. He'd go on that committee if it was appointed. How many are on the committee, councillors?
One.
And just for clarification, this is a 4-year term, or is this for 2?
Yes, so the question is the length of the term. The term is for 2 years, and in county council representation, the warden is a member of that board, plus an additional member of council.
Sorry, it does say that. I just had to look down. Thank you. So we do have the possibility.
I would ask appoint Councillor Sageman on the Tourism Sarnia-Lambton Board.
Ferguson, Councillor Ferguson seconds Councillor Sageman as appointee. I'll look for a motion. All in favor? Or sorry, look for the vote. All in favor? So that's passed. That's a majority. Okay, moving on. We need 4 members for the 2-year term for Creative County. I believe the warden also attends the Creative County Committee on a regular basis. So we're going to need 1 from each quadrant. So I will just simply look to members to put their stated representative forward in a motion, please. Starting with Councillor Hand.
Mayor Loosely from Betroya has an interest in staying on that one.
Okay, let's just compile it into one motion then. So I'll just open it up to Councillor Ferguson.
I will put my name forward for that committee.
Okay, Councillor Cook.
Councillor Case.
Okay, and from the City of Sarnia, Councillor McRoberts. And I would look for a motion on that. If someone would like to move all 4 names, please. Okay, Councillor Hand, Councillor Cook seconds that. All in favor? That has passed. I would look to item 6 now, the Community Safety and Wellbeing Leadership Table. I would look to my vice chair to take over for this motion, please, as I would like to put my name forward.
Thank you, Mr. White. And before you put your name forward, could you please tell us what this entails? I've not been on that, so I'm not real familiar with this committee. Could you address that, either Stefan? Okay, thank you.
Yes, the committee hasn't even started meeting. It's a new committee that was struck through council's approval of the community wellness safety plan through public health, Mr. Taylor. And the committee is currently scheduled to meet on a quarterly basis, as I understand it, and its work would be to effectively operationalize, monitor the terms and conditions of the community safety and wellness plan. And in terms of the membership of their leadership table, it requires 1 council members, and they'll have another number of members from the community, 7 from the community, for instance, including, for instance, police. So again, 1 member of county council to be named to this leadership table, and then it will meet on a quarterly basis with a broader community group for the purposes of operationalized monitoring performance of the community safety and well-being plan.
Good, thank you. We have Councillor White put his name forward. Any other names we would suggest?
I will move Councillor Atkinson.
Thank you. We have 2 names on the floor, Councillor Cook and Councillor Atkinson, or Councillor White and Councillor Atkinson. Okay. Any other names forward from the committee?
It's 1 person.
Good, thank you. So at this point, I will close nominations. And do we do this show of hands, I presume? And do they give a speech?
Necessarily, if I understand correctly, there's 2 candidates put forward, Deputy Warden White and Councillor Atkinson. I think this committee can and should deal with it informally. There's 4 of you. You perhaps start with whether or not you wish to appoint Councillor White, take the vote, and then depending on how that goes, move on to a vote on Councillor Atkinson. But again, it'd be a fairly informal vote amongst the 4 of you.
So with Councillor White declaring conflict, he would not be part of the vote?
He essentially declared the conflict simply for the purposes of chairing it, but I think at the end of the day, because it's a committee membership, he may vote if he wishes to vote.
So we'll start alphabetically. We'll start with Atkinson. All in favor of Atkinson? I have 1. Thank you. For White, we have 3. Councillor White will go on that committee.
formalized, I'll need a motion from the floor for you to appoint Councillor White.
I make a motion to appoint Councillor White to the Health and Wellbeing Committee. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ferguson. All right. Yep. We need a recommendation to County Council that the appointments of the striking committee minutes dated December 7th, 2022 be approved as presented. Councillor Ferguson, Councillor Hand seconds that. All in favor? All right. Motion to adjourn. All right. Cook. It's probably not a record, but we got through it.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody, once again. I will call on Mr. Tifo for the minutes of the striking committee, please.
Thank you, Warden Marriott. The striking committee started to meet at 10:27 a.m. this morning and concluded its meeting minutes ago at 10:45 a.m. I will read out the minutes of that committee for Council's consideration. Present were Warden Marriott and, of course, Deputy Warden White. The members were, of course, Councillor Ferguson, Councillor Cook, Councillor White, and Councillor Hand, Deputy Warden White. No absences. I was appointed as a secretary for the meeting. The first resolution that was adopted by your striking committee, it was moved by Councillor Cook and seconded by Councillor Ferguson, that the membership in the striking committee of 2023-2024 be as follows, which of course I just read it off, which is Deputy Warden White, Councillor Ferguson, Councillor Hand, and Councillor Cook. The second resolution adopted by your striking committee, it was moved by Councillor Ferguson, seconded by Councillor Hand, that Councillor White be appointed as chair of the committee. The third resolution that was adopted, it was moved by Councillor Hand and seconded by Councillor Cook, that Councillor Ferguson be appointed as a vice chair of the committee. The fourth resolution by your striking committee, it was moved by Councillor Ferguson, seconded by Councillor Cook, that the following members be assigned or appointed, to Committee AM for 2023, for the year of 2023, and Committee AM addresses Infrastructure and Development Services, Public Health, and Cultural Services. These are the following members on Committee AM as appointed by your striking committee. Letter A, Councillor Agar, Committee AM. Letter B, Councillor Broad, Committee AM. Letter C, Councillor Bradley, Committee AM. Letter D, Deputy Warden White, Committee AM. Letter E, Councillor Veen, Committee AM. Letter F, Councillor Sageman, Committee AM. Letter G, Councillor Case, Committee AM. And letter H, Councillor Boucher, Committee AM. The fifth resolution that was achieved by your striking committee this morning, it was moved by Councillor Cook, seconded by Councillor Ferguson, that the following members be appointed to Committee PM for 2023, and that is the committee that is responsible for long-term care, corporate services, finance, facilities, and court services, as well as social services. Letter L, these are the members for Committee PM. Letter L, Councillor Miller. Letter J, Councillor Ferguson. Letter K, Councillor Dennis. Letter L, Councillor McRoberts. Letter M, Councillor Loosely. Letter N, Councillor Hand. Letter O, Councillor Cook. And letter P, Councillor Atkinson. Those are the members of the Committee PM. Sixth resolution that was adopted by your striking committee, moved by Councillor Cook, seconded by Councillor Ferguson, that Councillor Sageman be appointed to the Tourism Sarnia-Lambton Board for 2023-2024. Seventh resolution adopted by your striking committee this morning, moved by Councillor Hand, seconded by Councillor Cook, that the following four members be appointed to the Creative County Committee for 2023-2024. In addition to the warden: Councillor Loosely, Councillor McRoberts, Councillor Ferguson, and Councillor Case. Second last resolution. It was moved by Councillor Ferguson, seconded by Councillor Hand, that Councillor White be appointed to the Lambton Community Safety and Wellbeing Leadership Table for 2023-2024. Last resolution by the striking committee. It was moved by Councillor Ferguson, seconded by Councillor Hand, that those appointments be presented to you for your approval.
Do we have a motion to approve those? Councillor Broad, seconded by Councillor Sageman. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And now we will adjourn to Committee AM.
We will meet at Committee AM.
Yeah, sorry, meet as Committee AM in this room. So everybody else can excuse themselves again, please. Don't take it personally. Yeah. I'll turn it over to Mr. Tifo again, please.
Welcome, Committee PM, for your inaugural meeting. AM, sorry. It's PM in my own mind. All right, so welcome, Committee AM, for your inaugural meeting. The first point of business for you is to nominate and appoint your chair. Councillor Case.
I nominate Ian Veen.
Councillor Veen, do you accept that nomination?
I guess so, yeah.
All right, do we have a seconder for that? Case, and Councillor Case moves, Councillor Broadley seconds, that Councillor Veen be appointed as chair of the committee for 2023. All right, well, then the agenda is yours, Councillor Veen, unless you want me to follow through.
Why don't you follow through, because I don't have my time.
Okay, sounds good. We will do that. The next business for this committee is to appoint a vice chair. Councillor Case.
Because I'm new, nobody will get too mad at me.
Councillor Agar, do you accept that nomination? Councillor Agar accepts the nomination. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Broad seconds, nominating Councillor Agar as Vice Chair for this committee for 2023. All in favor? That carries. Thank you. Next order of business is to appoint a member to the Lambton County Agricultural Advisory Committee for 2023. Councillor Case.
I'm on a roll. Al Broad.
Councillor Case nominates Al Broad. Councillor Broad, I should say. Councillor Broad, do you accept that nomination? Is there a seconder? Councillor Bouchy seconds it. So we have Councillor Case moving, Councillor Bouchy seconding that Councillor Broad be appointed to this committee. All in favor? That carries. Thank you very much. Next appointment to the Lambton Seniors Advisory Committee. This council needs to appoint one member to that committee. Do we have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Veen.
I would move that, you're looking for somebody to sit on it?
Yep.
Todd Case.
Councillor Veen nominates Todd Case to sit on the Lambton Seniors Advisory Committee for 2023-2024.
I will respectfully decline, but thank you very much to the mover.
Okay, that's been declined. Is there another option? Councillor Case.
I would nominate Mr. Bushy, if you want to sit there.
Councillor Bouchy, are you interested? There's a second declaration. All right, we're on a roll. Any further nominations? So Councillor Veen nominates Councillor Sageman. Is there, Councillor Sageman, do you accept that nomination?
Sure.
It's accepted. Councillor Broad seconds it. So it's moved by Councillor Veen, seconded by Councillor Broad, that Councillor Sageman be appointed to the Lambton Seniors Advisory Committee for 23-24. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. All right. I need a mover to, well, just to confirm, this committee, Committee AM, acts as the Emergency Services Committee, and members of this committee, namely the chair of this committee, together with the warden and deputy warden, are on the Woodlands Hearing Board as well. So that being said, I need a mover and a seconder to make those recommendations to County Council for acceptance. I have Councillor Sageman, Councillor Broad for that recommendation. All in favor? That carries. Thank you. Motion to adjourn. Councillor Broad, Councillor Case. Adjourn. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Thank you. I got to read these minutes, yep.
Welcome back, everybody. Sorry for the extra exercise today. Mr. Tifo needs a minute or two, and then we will adopt those minutes of Committee AM.
Welcome back, County Council. I'm here to read the minutes of the committee AM for your approval. The meeting started at 10:45 a.m. Present were Chair Councillor Veen and Warden Marriott. The members present were Councillor Agar, Councillor Broad, Councillor White, Councillor Veen, Councillor Sageman, Councillor Case, and Councillor Bouchy. Absent was Councillor Bradley. Motion number 1 that was adopted was moved by Councillor Case, seconded by Councillor Broad, that Councillor Veen be appointed as Chair of the committee for 2023. The second resolution that was adopted by Committee AM this morning was moved by Councillor Case and seconded by Councillor Broad, that Councillor Agar be appointed as Vice Chair of the committee for 2023. The third resolution that was adopted was moved by Councillor Case and seconded by Councillor Bouchy, that Councillor Broad be appointed to the Lambton County Agricultural Advisory Committee for 2023. The fourth resolution that was adopted, it was moved by Councillor Veen, seconded by Councillor Broad, that Councillor Sageman be appointed to the Lambton Seniors Advisory Committee for 2023-2024. And the fifth resolution that was adopted was moved by Councillor Sageman and seconded by Councillor Broad, that the recommendations to those appointments to the committees I just read out be accepted by County Council. And the last resolution that was adopted was moved by Councillor Broad and seconded by Councillor Case to adjourn Committee AM at 10:58 a.m. this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Tifo. Do we have a motion to adopt those minutes? Councillor Case and Councillor Broad seconds. All in favor? That's carried. And now at this time, I will ask those of Committee PM to stay, and everyone else can excuse themselves once more, please. Thank heavens for Mr. Tifo's organizational abilities. A lot of paper there.
Welcome to members of Committee PM for your inaugural meeting. The first order of business is to nominate and appoint a chair for this committee. Is there a, how does the committee wish to move forward on that? Councillor Hand? Councillor Ferguson, how do you accept that nomination? Okay. Councillor Loosely seconds it. So it is moved by Councillor Hand, seconded by Councillor Loosely, that Councillor Ferguson be appointed as chair of this committee for 2023. All in favor? Thank you. That carries. Councillor Ferguson, how do you wish to proceed? Do you wish to take over the agenda?
Yes, please. Thank you. At this point in time, we're going to look for a vice chair, and we'll have to put your names forward, please, if you wish, or nominate somebody for vice chair. Now, a little bit just to add on that vice chair isn't real busy, so we do have several new people on, so don't be scared of putting your hand up for interest. You only chair it if I am missing, and it runs fairly smoothly. So anybody wish to put their hand up, have an interest in this, and then we'll ask for names.
I'm going to nominate Bill Dennis. A newbie. Sorry.
Good, thank you. Any further nominations? Sorry, so we'll ask for, and then, okay, so we have a seconder for Mr. Dennis. We have Mr. Cook. All in favor for Vice Chair Bill Dennis? Carried, thank you. Now we're going to move into appointments. The County of Lambton Accessible Advisory Committee. Mr. Tifo, can you give us a bit of a history on this one so we know for the new ones in the room and for refreshment for the others?
Thank you. The Accessibility Advisory Committee is born out of the legislation, the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act, and it essentially has oversight over the county's accessibility plan that needs to be drafted and put together every 5 years. But at the same time, this committee will meet quarterly or perhaps twice a year, depending on circumstances, to meet and address issues if there are any regarding our operations, and to carry out audits, accessibility audits. In terms of its membership from this body, we need the one member, and the rest of the committee is made up with 2 staff members and a number of community members.
Thank you. So first off, I'll ask, anybody have an interest in this to put their hand up? Then I will ask for nominations. Seeing no hands, I'll ask for nominations. Oh, sorry. Good, thank you. I didn't see you, Doug, you were blocked a bit. Any further nominations? Seeing none, do we have a seconder for Mr. Cook? Who do you have for a motion? Who made the motion? Hands and loosely.
Yeah, thanks.
All in favor? Carried, thank you. And we'll put on the floor item number 3, the appointment to the Adult Enrichment Center Advisory Committee. And again, Mr. Tifo, can you give us a brief history on this one?
Yes, the current member from council, from previous council, was Councillor or Deputy Warden at the time, Councillor Han today. And that's a committee that meets from time to time to identify community needs for services for adults with cognitive and physical frailties and advocate on their behalf.
Thank you. Anybody with an interest? First, Councillor Mayor Hands has an interest. Any other people with an interest? And if somebody with a nomination for Councillor Hands, Gary gives a nomination of a seconder, Mr. Loosely. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Moving to number 4, appointments to the Audit Committee. And there will be 4 members. So is that 2 from each committee, Mr. Tifo, or 4 from this committee?
Committee PM nominates all 4 members to the Audit Committee, and that switches from year to year, from committee to committee.
Oh, okay.
Good, thank you. And the warden sits on automatically, so there'll be 4 people. Anybody, and we'll ask for nomination because there is 4 or interest. I see Mr. Atkinson, Loosely, Miller, and Cook with their hands up. Any further nominations? Can I have a seconder for those 4? Bev Hands will nominate, well, second all 4. All in favor? Carried, thank you.
So mover on that one?
Excuse me.
And then does the latter part come in now, or do I make this
But we've got,
a mover and a second for the recommendations as shown? Councillor Han and Councillor Loosely, seconder. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Motion to adjourn. Councillor Atkinson, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Will I go and call the other back
Lisa
in?
went. Lisa
Oh, she
went
went?
to get them.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome back. I promise that's the last time we'll kick anybody out. I'll turn it over to Mr. Tifo again to report on Committee PM, please.
Thank you, Warden Marriott. Committee PM met this morning, starting at 10:58 a.m. Present were the Chair Ferguson, Vice Chair Dennis, and all members of the committee. The first appointment made, and that includes Councillor Miller, Councillor Ferguson, Councillor Dennis, Councillor McRoberts, Councillor Loosely, Councillor Hand, Councillor Cook, and Councillor Atkinson's. The first resolution adopted by the committee of 7 resolutions. It was moved by Councillor Hand and seconded by Councillor Loosely that Councillor Ferguson be appointed as Chair of Committee PM. The second resolution was moved by Councillor Hand, seconded by Councillor Cook, that Councillor Dennis be appointed as Vice Chair of the committee. The third resolution, it was moved by Councillor Hand and seconded by Councillor Loosely that Councillor Cook be appointed as Chair of the County of Lambton Accessibility Advisory Committee for a 1-year term. Fourth resolution, it was moved by Councillor Atkinson and seconded by Councillor Loosely that Councillor Hand be appointed to the County of Lambton Adult Enrichment Centre Advisory Committee for a 2-year term. The fifth resolution, it was moved by Councillor Ferguson, seconded by Councillor Hand, that the following 4 members be appointed to the Audit Committee in addition to the Warden for a 1-year term, and that is Councillors Atkinson, Councillor Loosely, Councillor Cook, and Councillor Miller. Sixth resolution, it was moved by Councillor Hand, seconded by Councillor Loosely, that those appointments to those committees be recommended for County Council's approval. And last resolution was moved by Councillor Atkinson and seconded by Councillor Dennis to adjourn the meeting at 11:10 a.m. Those are the meetings.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tifo. That takes us to item 29.
Oh, they need to adopt them.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Motion to adopt those minutes. Councillor Hand and Councillor Bean, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Now, item 29, items tabled from previous meetings. Do we have a motion to lift the Councillor Loosely and Councillor Cook? All in favor? It's carried. How would you like to deal with this motion or this issue? Councillor Cook.
Is it possible to get the motion up on the screen so we can all see it? I don't know if we can.
Yeah, I can read it. Oh, okay. Mr. Tifo is going to walk through it. It isn't on print.
Yes, so the issue, I'll give sort of the issue and then sort of the options for County Council. The issue is about continuing electronic participation in these meetings by hybrid mode. So for instance, over the last year, County Council has been meeting and allowing meetings to proceed in a hybrid fashion, meaning those who wish to attend in person can attend in person, and those who wish to attend attend online. And when County Council amended its rules of procedures to do so, it explicitly said that it would do so on a trial period, and that trial period expired on November 14th of this year at the end of the term. For it to be brought back to Council for its reconsideration to see if it wishes to move forward in permitting the hybrid system to move forward. And if Council does wish to move forward, it simply needs from this body a recommendation to adopt bylaw number 3 of 2023 that is in the meeting materials. And if you were to adopt that bylaw through this recommendation, effectively the expiry of the hybrid meetings of November 14th would be deleted, thereby allowing hybrid meetings to continue on an indefinite basis.
That should explain it. Councillor Hand.
Could you refresh my memory? Is there any stipulations around choosing to do hybrid, like vacation or illness, or any parameters around that?
Yes, thank you. The rules of procedure were drafted so that the de facto rule would be that you would attend in person. And if you're unable to attend in person for a variety of reasons, many of them may be personal, then you could have that option to attend online. But again, the expectation, the way that the provision is drafted, is that the fallback rule is personal attendance. Now, in terms of enforcing that, the enforcement of that really rests with the body, with Council itself, through its leadership to enforce that rule at this point in time.
Councillor Ferguson.
We all do travel anymore, and there could be bad weather in different places. The way it was set up before, you could participate electronically but not vote. Am I correct on that? So the world has moved on. I'd like to see us still do some hybrid, but a percentage of our meetings could be hybrid, the rest should be in person.
No, we were able to vote virtually.
Before we
Yes.
did the others?
Yes.
In municipalities, we couldn't.
So there is a bit of a history to all of this. The history started off with the beginning of the pandemic, and at the beginning of prior to the pandemic, you could have electronic participation, but electronic participation, you were not counted as quorum, and therefore you really couldn't vote. You just were there as a spectator. Then, with the onset of the pandemic, the Municipal Act was changed, and it was changed to allow hybrid participation to include as well participation in camera meetings online, and to be counted towards quorum and, of course, to vote. So there has been sort of progression in terms of what the Municipal Act allows, and for the last year or so, if not more, County Council participated in a hybrid system where all participants, whether you were in person and or online, were able to not only count for quorum, but also vote both in the open session and in the closed session.
Councillor Cook and then Councillor Broad.
Also, I believe we also did appoint, only some councils could appoint someone to stand in for you if you weren't going to be there. So you could appoint an alternate to come. Some councils did that. Now, I don't know if that would count as being a Zoom meeting or being an in-person meeting, but I think if you're going to appoint somebody in the first place, it almost seems redundant or duplication to have Zooms, because if you're not going to be there in person, you could have your alternate attend.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Broad and then Councillor Case.
Thanks, Warden Marriott. I was probably one of the individuals that used a Zoom meeting. A couple of reasons why I did that. When you looked at some of our committee meetings, there was a 15 minutes worth of items. For me, I'm 35 minutes away. Drive up here, drive back. I have to take time off. I work full time, so I either have to use that as holiday or take the cut and pay. So to me, I still like it. I think especially for the committee meetings, it was still effective. We could hear you fine, you could hear us fine. I think once we got the bugs out of it, we do have weather events coming up, and let's be honest, COVID hasn't gone away. We got COVID, we've got sickness, and that still allows people to think they can stay home and still participate in the meeting and not bring their sickness to this floor. So I'm going to 100% be in favor of it. I'm probably going to use it more for committee meetings that have a short agenda to it, because like I said, it makes zero sense for me to drive that much back and forth for such a short agenda. So I will be supporting. In fact, I would actually make the motion to continue on.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Hand. Councillor Case, you want to? Okay. Anybody else want to speak to the Councillor Ferguson?
It is nice to see people in person, and the only question I have, should it be a limit percentage-wise of Zoom to in-person? And that's the only thing I'm going to throw on the floor. We should have the option of the Zoom. Mr. Councillor Broad and Councillor Hands agree with that. The only thing I would ask for discussion is, should we limit the amount or percentage-wise of meetings?
Okay, any discussion on that? Councillor Cook?
Well, again, I will agree with what Councillor Broad said, but I would, if we could limit it to committee meetings as opposed to in-person council meetings, I guess I'd be more in favor of it. I think this is an elected body that's going to sit over a $250 million budget, and I think we should be in person to do that. Rather than committee meetings, I can appreciate we have to drive, even for ourselves, driving 35 minutes to get here for a 15-minute meeting doesn't make a lot of sense. So I would say for committee meetings, you could have that option, but for council meetings, I like to see us in person.
Councillor Loosely.
Thank you, Warden Marriott. I agree with Councillor Cook. I think we all can have alternates. I know I've appointed an alternate to attend in my behalf, but I could agree with the committee meetings, but not for our regular county council meetings.
Okay, Councillor, did I have this question over here? No? Okay, Councillor Case, please.
Yeah, Mr. Warden, through you. My only concern is I think it's very hard to put something like percentages on something like this. I think if we adopt it, you have to allow everybody to make the decision on their own, what works. This time of year, we are getting into weather events, as Councillor Ferguson said, so I can see it being a useful tool sometimes. I think all my time here previously, I think we had one council meeting we had to cancel, but we did cancel one. That would still give people the ability to still continue on with the meeting through Zoom. But I do agree. I think it's very hard. I think it's very hard to put percentages on it. I think you have to trust the members. If you decide to move forward with this and continue on, you have to trust the members to make that decision, whatever it is for themselves. I mean, again, it's individual circumstances. So I really have a hard time with trying to find a way of putting percentages on something like this. For me, it's more simple. It's either yes or no. We continue on or we don't. And I guess I'm open-minded enough, as much as I didn't sit here the last term, I was involved with some organizations that we use Zoom, and I do see it as a useful tool when circumstances are such as they can be sometimes. So that's my 2 cents. I think it would be very hard to put some kind of a percentage guideline on the members' ability to be able to use that tool. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Ferguson.
I'd like to amend the motion on the floor. They have to accept it to have the committee meetings. They could do full Zoom, but council should be in person or their designated alternate.
Okay, do we have a seconder for that? Councillor Loosely seconds the amendment. Any discussion on the amendment? Councillor Bean.
So just for clarity, we're going to have the committee meetings can be by Zoom, but the main council meeting, everybody has to show up, right?
Well, that's the amendment.
That's the amendment? Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion before I call the vote on the amendment? Okay, so I'll ask Mr. Tifo to read the amendment.
Yes, so it's moved by Councillor Ferguson, and I'm not sure if I got the right seconder, Councillor Loosely, on the amendment?
Yes.
That the hybrid meetings be permitted to continue on an indefinite basis for committee meetings only and not council meetings.
All in favor? Opposed? Wow, that's close. We're going to have to yeah. Raise your hands in favor first. Those opposed? Very close. Okay, it needs a minute to add it up. It is very close. I haven't had to break a tie yet. Maybe this will be my first.
Motion is defeated, fails.
Okay. Councillor Loosely.
I'm going to request a recorded vote, please.
It's failed, yeah. Okay, back to the original motion, which is we can have continuing what we have with hybrid meetings for both council and committee. And indefinitely, right?
Correct, and adopt bylaw number 3 of 2023. That's in your package.
Deputy Warden White, please.
Thank you, Warden. I think in light of the fact that this was a very close vote, I think the message is very clear that there's a strong desire for everybody to be here in person by a large number of our members here, and several aren't available today for this conversation. I think it's very clear that it's up to us to try and encourage and maybe use a little peer pressure to try and have people show up. I agree it's important that we're here in person, but I also agree that from an accessibility standpoint, offering hybrid is an option to ensure that our communities are well represented in times that are beyond our control, whether it's weather, sickness in the family, a vulnerable person that we just don't want to expose to whatever's going around. So with a little bit of compassion and yet maybe a little bit of elbow nudging, when appropriate, I think we can have appropriate representation here in person for council meetings.
Thank you. Are we ready to vote? Councillor Loosely.
Get a request to recorded vote, please.
Okay, requested by Councillor Loosely. I'll ask Mr. Tifo to, Councillor Agar, please. This is for Broad's motion, right? That's correct.
So the motion on the table, moved by Councillor Broad, seconded by Councillor Hand, to permit County Council to participate electronically in a hybrid format in both committee and council meetings and adopt bylaw number 3 of 2023 that's in your materials that would permit that on an indefinite basis. Requested recorded vote was requested by Councillor Lucy. Just draw the name. We will start with, that individual is absent. We'll start with Councillor Cook.
No.
I have a no, Councillor Cook. Councillor Dennis.
No.
I have a no, Councillor Dennis. Councillor Ferguson.
No.
Councillor Ferguson, I have a no. Councillor Hand. Councillor Hand, I have a yes. Councillor Loosely.
No.
Councillor Loosely, I have a no. Councillor McRoberts.
Yes.
Councillor McRoberts, I have a yes. Councillor Miller.
No.
Councillor Miller, I have a no. Councillor Sageman.
That's a no.
Councillor Sageman, I have a no. Councillor Veen.
No.
Councillor Veen, I have a no. Councillor White, Deputy Warden White.
Yes.
I have a yes. Councillor Agar.
Yes.
I have a yes, Councillor Agar. Councillor Atkinson.
Yes.
I have a yes, Councillor Atkinson. Councillor Broad.
Yes.
Councillor Broad, I have a yes. Councillor Case.
Yes.
Councillor Case, I have a yes. Warden Marriott.
Yes.
Warden Marriott, I have a yes. The motion carries. 17 to 14.
Okay. That brings us to item number 30, appointment bylaws. Mr. Tifo, please.
Thank you. It is moved by Councillor Miller, seconded by Councillor Veen, that bylaws 1, 2, and 3 of 2023 as circulated be taken as read a first and second time.
All in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
It is moved by Councillor Veen, seconded by Councillor Miller, that bylaws 1, 2, and 3 of 2023 as circulated be taken as read a third and final time.
All in favor? It's carried. That brings us to item number 34, adjournment. Who would like to adjourn? Council, yeah, go ahead, please. I should have asked for anything else.
Well, thank you, Warden and members of County Council. I put my name forward for the Roma board, and I would appreciate your support for those who are going down to the Roma conference. Thank you very much. And
Okay, I guess Councillor Ferguson.
Will he have a hospitality suite down there?
That'll have to be on his campaign. Anything else? So there was a motion to adjourn by Councillor Veen. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Ferguson. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Please join us in O Canada.
With glowing hearts we see the
Thank you. Oh, yeah, and picture, everybody to the front, please.